can you tell us about your gaming career along the way? What do you think about Logitech's G sponsorship to your team?
Do you want me to say like just Counter-Strike Go or the start of?
Just
okay.
Just Counter-Strike Go.
Yeah, so when the game came out in alpha, I made a team with Daze, me, Sean Gares, and Hiko. Well, Pinecone was there originally, and then we replaced him with TCK and then Frost, and we were like probably the best team in North America at the start with Dynamic for I don't know how long it was, and then we eventually that team eventually like kind of imploded, and I created a new team with Hiko, me, Jordan, or Nothing, Swag, and Sean again, and then we eventually ended up being Cloud9, and then I got cut from that team, and then now I'm on TSM, where I'm at right now. So, and the Logitech sponsors are pretty good. They've pretty much given us everything we need. We have an office and this house is from them. So, yeah, I mean, they've pretty much been treating us really well, and we have all their gear is pretty good. We've been kind of like doing input on it at the office too, so we've been giving them some feedback, and they've been taking that into consideration and stuff. So it's not just Counter-Strike, I guess, when we're there, but mostly.
Okay, thanks.
So, okay. For the second question, how do you get into CSGO? Do you play other games before?
I guess I'll go, or do you want to go?
Sorry.
Are we just going one by one, or is it?
Yeah,
you want everyone to answer
by one. One by one. It's okay.
Okay. Well, I got into CSGO because I played CS 1.6 at the start, and obviously CSGO was the next version, or well, actually it was Source, but I never played Source. When CSGO came out, everybody switched to CSGO, so that's why my team switched to CSGO as well. So that's how I got into it, but I was already kind of playing competitive at the time, so we got immediately invited to the Invite League in ESCA, so that kind of motivated me to stay with CSGO. And did I play any other games before that? No, just CS 1.6 competitively, nothing else.
What about Cody?
Yeah, I started with CS 1.6, and when CSGO was announced, 1.6 was on the decline. The game was pretty much dying, so it was either switch to that or quit or find a new game or something. So I've always played other games here and there, like Dota, and now I play Overwatch a little bit just for fun. I don't know, just any game that's like entertaining, but still competitive. Because I always like to play multiplayer games that are somewhat competitive, but just for fun,
Thank you.
So,
okay, hey guys. So how do you feel now that you've joined one of the best CSGO team and get a chance to take part in international tournament?
Oh, how do I feel about that?
Yep.
I mean, it feels good, obviously. I've been competing with other teams as well, but obviously being on TSM, who's such a prestigious organization in esports, it's like you don't want to let them down, so you always have pressure and stuff like that, but it feels really good to compete and compete at the highest level in the game. I think you can't get much higher than that. You can't get much higher than TSM, so it's obviously a great feeling to play for them.
What about you, Sampes?
Yeah, I mean, I was on Cloud9 before, which is kind of like TSM's little baby brother, but so I kind of have been in the same situation, similar sponsors. But yeah, I mean, it feels good to be back on like a really big org again, and they pretty much provide everything you need, so you don't really have to think about a lot, which is nice.
Okay, right. Thank you, guys.
Next one. Before you joining the TSM, you've played in different teams. How do you synergize with each team member, especially in tournament and training?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Diulang lagi.
Before you joining TSM, you've played in different team, right? Like you mentioned before in C9 or etc. And then,
Yeah.
how do you synergize with each team member in TSM, especially in tournament and training?
I mean, obviously it takes time when you join a new team and stuff like that. Previously, I played for CLG and I made that team, and I had like friends who I made that team with, and then we eventually got into CLG and stuff like that. That was great. So we had a lot of chemistry because I'd played with them for a really long time. But with this team, I hadn't played with Sempis or any of the other 3 players that are on the team. So it's obviously very difficult at the start when you're making the team. It's hard to have synergy at the beginning, but the more you play, the more chemistry you gain. So we've been trying to put in a lot of time and practice, and that's basically how you eventually gain synergy and chemistry in order to perform at your highest level.
And how about Corey?
Yeah, I guess like the hardest thing is like when we make this team with TSM, you when you're playing with, I was in the kind of the same boat as him where I kind of made the first version of Cloud9 with Hiko. So when you make a team and then you're on it for so long and then you have to join a new one, it's all about rebuilding. And so when we actually made this TSM team, we kind of sucked for the first couple months. Like we weren't very good, and there was all types of problems. We had a couple roster changes, but lately we started to kind of like be on the uprise, and we've started to like prove ourselves, I guess, because some people maybe didn't think we deserved the sponsorship. So, and now people are kind of more on our side, which is nice. But yeah, it's a lot of work to form a new team. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Corey, Pujan. I would like to ask you about your training. So, do you agree that pro player have to put half of their day to train to play, especially in this time is for CSGO in a single week, in order to play par with the other pro player? So you spend your half day to just for training or something like that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of us being in this gaming house is because of training and like putting in that many hours into the game. So yeah, it's definitely necessary, especially now, because back then when it was in CS 1.6 or early CSGO, there wasn't that much competition at that point. At that point in time, but now there's so many more teams, there's so much more competitions, and a lot of these teams are way ahead of us, so we have to start putting in like 8 to 10 hours a day at least to even catch up to them, and in terms of skill and chemistry and teamwork and all of that stuff. So I think it's definitely like necessary if you want to be at a high level that you have to play at least 8 to 10 hours a day.
Okay, how about you, Corey?
Yeah, I definitely think it could be player dependent, but most people, like 99% of the people that are pros, you got to play a lot, minimum 8 hours probably. What people don't realize is like a lot of times we play on our own time, like, just warm ups, like practice games like that aren't with our team. So I don't think you just got to put in time somewhere, it's just got to add up. Like you can't just play like 2 hours a day and think you're going to compete. So I guess like anything, the harder you work, the better the results.
How about the team solo meet practice menu itself? How many hours that you guys spend in a day to train?
How many hours do we spend a day? Like, we have scrimmages planned out before, like the day before or 2 days beforehand. So, like, we have blocks of best of threes, which are basically you have to play 3 maps. So we play about 2, maybe even 3 of those. And so, like, one best of 3, which all goes to 30 rounds. all 3 maps, which is 90 rounds. So that's like a lot of playing time. So basically, each BO3 is 3 hours. So if we play 3 BO3s, for example, it's 9 hours of play right there. On top of deathmatch, on top of casual play. Like if we're training for a tournament, that's basically how it is. So we basically put in 11 or 12 hours of practice a day, mostly in scrims though, versus other teams.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, both of you have your own role in team, right? Can you describe your game style in general?
Sure. So for me personally, I'm like more of like a support fragger, which like everybody on the team is supposed to be good. So everyone's has to learn how to support, but I do more of that than the other players on the team. So for example, planting the bomb, throwing nades for teammates and stuff like that, being in spots that other people don't necessarily like to be in. You don't get that many kills per se, but you do your job. That's basically what I do. Yeah. That's like the best way I guess I could describe it. It's just it's a support role.
What about you, Tempest?
Yeah, I'm the primary opper, sniper, and in-game leader, so I have to direct everyone, and FNS can help a little bit with that sometimes. And then, yeah, it's pretty. It's a fairly important role, but I mean, it's probably more the in-game leader part is probably the most important though. Just making sure everyone's on the same page and they call in the right thing. You have to put in work to watch demos and see what the other teams you're going to play are doing. So that's my job.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, what is your future goal as far as CSGO is concerned?
Honestly, it's really hard to say, I guess. I have a bunch of goals in this game with my teammates at least, and one of them is getting top 10 in the world, which I already achieved once with CLG, I guess. At least in the rankings, we were 10th at one point, but I want to do that with this team. I want to get to the top 10 level and like be known as an elite team, a tier 1 team. I guess my end goal would be to win a major, just like everybody else. But right now, we're just taking it one day at a time.
I see. How about you, Corey?
I guess everyone's goal in this game is probably to win a major. I don't think there's anyone that's trying to win another tournament more than a major. It's just like kind of the prestige you get from winning it, even if the money would be, say, higher in another one. I think people always just kind of try harder at majors. It's just like the one that if there's 3 tournaments in a row, they're going to put all their effort into the major, rather than the other 2. Just the way that I feel most teams go about it. So winning major would be top of my list. Being consistently in the top 5 would be really nice for at least like 6 months, just being like a really consistent team. But those are always like big aspirations. So, and we're still a new team, so we still have to become the best in our region before we can really conquer that goal. So I guess it's just one step at a time for us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, hello. Next question is, as of today, what team is TSM considering as your toughest enemy, and why?
I mean, obviously the best teams in the world, like Fnatic, Luminosity, all of those teams, Astralis, you'd consider them as the best, so those probably are our toughest opponents, but we have rivals as well, like Cloud9 is a rival of ours, CLG, anybody in North America, really, that is supposed to be ahead of us right now. We kind of want to be the best team in NA first before we kind of move on to the European, or rather Brazilian, I guess, stage. But I would say that our rivals are probably Cloud9 and CLG. We want to definitely be better than those 2 teams.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Can you give some tips for teams in Indonesia who want to follow TSM's footsteps to the World Tournament?
Tips. Honestly, like it's like what I tell anybody that like, if I'm streaming, for example, I always get the question like, "What can I do to get better?" and stuff like that, or have a good team. And a lot of it comes down to like have a couple of friends that you're always playing with. But more importantly than that, you just want to play a lot of CS. I would say like it doesn't matter if you're playing deathmatch. It doesn't really matter if you're playing like pickup games. It doesn't matter if you're scrimming. You just want to play a lot. That's like the most important thing. So if you put in thousands of hours into the game, it'll eventually pay off and people will eventually notice you. And if you're good enough, you'll get noticed to the point where you'll eventually get into the professional scene. Like examples would be like people like Tarek, people like Stewie2K. Those are just some off the top of my head, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Corey?
Yeah, I guess it's I mean, the more time you put in, obviously, is going to help. So individually, you just want to deathmatch, watch demos, just put in a lot of time, just pugging, playing with friends. It becomes harder if you want to like create a team. I think if you want to become like a top team, then it's more about finding 5 players with the same goals. So you want to have people that get along and want to put in the same amount of effort. It's harder in areas that don't have like salary and stuff that kind of forces people to have a strict schedule for Counter-Strike. But other than that, you just need people to basically like want to win together and like kind of create your own game style, because that's like kind of what the Brazilians did. They didn't really have a lot of like really good opponents down there. It was more they just kind of like had people that really wanted to win and put in a lot of effort individually and as a team. So I think you kind of need 5 players that all are putting in everything.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Next is, do you mind explaining how you guys practicing? Your exact practicing schedule, like how many hours of streaming every day and how many hours of deathmatch, especially for Corey. How do you practice your sniper?
I guess like I deathmatch a lot, probably as my main form of like individual practice. I think like especially for opping, I've talked to other pros, and I think most people kind of agree like you can go and pug, or you can go and scrim with like friends, but if you really just want to use the op a lot, deathmatch is the place, because you just get like tons of shots. Whereas like if you're a rifler, maybe ESA pugging or something like some sort of pug system might be more beneficial, because you can so you're going to get a rifle a lot, but if you're losing in a pug, you might barely get an op, right? So just getting in the most shots and also you like practicing correctly, right? Like if you are bad at single zooming or quick scoping or something, just die doing it a lot. But yeah, and for practice schedule, it depends on the day, because some days there's way more teams looking for scrims, so we might play from 12 to 9 or 10, and then some days we might only have one best of 3, like we could only get one good set of scrims. So that day we'll try to do more like server side time, like going over strats and setups and stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll have a break and then play our game, and then after that maybe we'll just deathmatch or something on our own, because there's only so much like server side time you can do. People can be like, oh well, you could always go over something, but it's also about remembering it too. Like if you can't be in a server for 5 hours and expect people to like actually remember everything you talked about. So it's unfortunate that we can't always get the type of practice that we want, but it is what it is.
So, do you guys boot camping when what? So how effective is a boot camping for you guys?
How effective?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like obviously like helps a lot, because all of us are in the same office playing, and that helps a lot in terms of that's how LAN is. So when we go to LAN tournaments, we're used to being beside each other and stuff like that. We could also take keep tabs on each other, how much all of us are playing. But more importantly than all of that for boot camp is how many scrims we're playing and how much practice time we're putting in. A lot of the times when people are at their own houses and stuff like that, they make plans, stuff like that. But if you're at a boot camp, your number one focus is Counter-Strike. So since your number one focus is practice, that's all you're doing all day. So basically, we just put in as much time as possible in scrims and deathmatch and stuff like that. So in that sense, it's very effective for us.
Okay, guys. Who is your inspiration in the CSGO scenes, and who is your favorite player?
I guess the inspiration would be Luminosity, because they literally came from nothing and won a major. And that's like really, really impressive to do for the Brazilians to be able to do that. They didn't have a very like super competitive scene or anything in Brazil, but they came to America, they practiced really hard, and then they earned themselves a major win. And that's like the dream for everyone. And the fact that they were able to do that over a lot of these NA teams, any NA team actually, is like super inspirational, I would say. My favorite player was probably Flesha right from the start of the game. I think he's probably the most consistent player on Fnatic, and I would say the most consistent in terms of when Fnatic was playing at their best, he was the most consistent. And Fnatic is known to be the best team in the world, or of all time, rather. So I would say Flesha for me.
Yeah, I guess for me, I mean, inspiration is. I don't know if a team has really like inspired me per se, but I mean, obviously Luminosity is a good example. Like you said, you know, they came from the Brazilian scene, which wasn't very competitive, and now they're like maybe the best team in the world. And then you have Envy, who kind of like proved that you could force buy a ton and just like brutalize teams with skill instead of like having to run like super crazy strats. There's been a bunch of teams that kind of impressed me. And then for players, I don't know, probably Forrest. He's been around for so long, and he just really nice guy and just always just amazing at the game. Doesn't even need to play. Like, some people don't realize he could literally not play for 2 weeks and he'd still be better than like everyone. So that's why he's just one of those guys that's just naturally talented. So obviously playing will help him, but he's just, I don't know, he's always the guy I kind of like looked up to, I guess.
How important are gaming accessories for CSGO players, and what do you use personally?
I mean, like gaming equipment like mice and stuff like that are really important, especially in CS. Not so much in League of Legends or Dota, I would say, just because you could use any mouse. You don't really need a special mouse or anything like that. But I would say in Counter-Strike at least, you definitely need a mouse preference. Like, people have mouse preferences from like different sizes, different shapes and stuff like that. So it's really important for us to have like the mice and keyboards and stuff that we want. For us right now, since we're obviously sponsored by Logitech, I mean, we use Logitech gear, so yeah.
And you, Corey?
And like, and one more thing is like, it's really awesome that they're like coming up with like new prototypes and stuff and having us test them out. It's like awesome that they're asking us for feedback, which helps us feel like we're helping them a lot too. So it's like a big shout out to them for, you know, bringing us over and like giving us a house, giving us a boot camp area, having us test their mice and stuff like that, only for our own benefit. So it's like good to know that a company is like, you know, looking out for you in that way. So
yeah, I guess like the thing about Logitech is they have like really, really good sensors, probably like the best sensors out of any company, which like you can never blame that for the reason you died or whatever. They make great keyboards, headphones, mouse pads. I guess the problem that most people have was just like that. It's not even like it's with any company, right? If you like the shape of a mouse or not, and sometimes you don't care if the sensor's the best if the shape isn't. But I think now with the some of the new mice that they're gonna come out with, it's pretty much gonna cover all our bases, and I think everyone's gonna be happy. So I think Logitech is gonna be the king in the future for mice and like gaming stuff.
As a team, have you and your team been going through rough time on an emotional level, and how do you deal with it?
Have we been through rough times?
Yeah.
The worst.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we've
gone
yeah.
every emotion possible. No, I mean, some of them have been fixed, some of them haven't. Yeah,
we're an emotional roller coaster, is what we like to say. Yeah.
We have
since we have young players. Yeah, I mean, we have young players. To answer your question seriously, I would say yes. Every team has problems. I think out of any team I have been on, which is one team, CLG before this team, I have never experienced this amount of an emotional roller coaster in my entire career. Like, that's Cadian. Anyways, yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about right here. Constant trolling. But yeah, we have young kids, right? So I mean, they get obviously very emotional when you criticize them and stuff like that. Sometimes they don't know how to take criticism. So yeah,
he's just so happy with himself.
Yeah,
that's the funniest part.
Yeah, it's obviously tough because we're a new team and we don't know each other that well or anything. We just moved in together, and to have problems like emotional issues and people not liking each other or people not getting along or anything like that, obviously it's like hard to deal with. But you know, I guess it's just something we have to deal with or fix.
Yeah.
So, for Cory and Pujan, any special message for your fans and those who play CSGO, especially in Indonesia?
I mean, I can't even believe people from Indonesia watch us play. So that's kind of crazy. So thank you.
We watch you. This one is your fans. This one.
No, I don't mean that in an offensive way.
It means that we're bad.
No, I mean that. Yeah, I mean like the fact that you guys actually watch us play. Like we're not. I would understand if you watched like Fnatic or high level teams and stuff like that. Right now, we're not at that. Well, either way, we appreciate it. All you guys, you know, everybody, all the fans and stuff like that in general, all around the world, watch us play it, support us and stuff like that. Like I've seen so many good messages. Like I've seen a lot of hate, but I mean, I've also seen a lot of like good messages. You know, people on Twitter and stuff like that supporting us, even though we'll lose a game or win a game, whatever. So I think that's like awesome. It keeps us going. And I honestly don't care much about the hate, but it's obviously appreciated when people say good things about us and have faith in us. So thank you, I guess, is what I want to say.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Trying to check this really quick. I thought I played an Indonesian team one time in 1.6 at WCG, but I could be wrong because it was such a long time ago. But either way, yeah, just thanks for anyone that supports us. It means a lot. I mean, we always appreciate our fans. I think some people, sometimes we might remember the hate, but we all also know that like the haters are more vocal than the nicer people, I feel like. So I know you guys are out there and we appreciate it.
Oh, and also big shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for the interview. I mean, this is the first interview that I've done since being on TSM. So thank you.
Oh, really?
Kamu
Yeah.
ini nanti.
Okay. And Corey and Pujan, the guys wants to take a picture with you. I believe you still have a couple of minutes to take a picture together, right?
How do you do it?
How?
Take a
Okay.
picture. How?
People will go.
I can
in
fly
front.
over there right now. I'll fly over there right now.
Okay.
Di depan.
Depan aja. So guys will stand in front of here and just take a picture with the picture of you.
Take a picture of the
Okay.
picture of you.
Okay.
Nice quote.
Boleh ada yang mau personal juga. Ada yang mau personal. Oke, siap.
Ada yang mau selfie bareng? Boleh.
Gue personal sama Audrey aja. Boleh.
Mau foto. Gue fotoin. Ke mod nggak? Atau mungkin per grup dulu kali ya. Ini mau difotoin?
Audrey, Caca udah gak keluar.
Nanti mukanya nggak
Caca udah gak main lagi.
Caca masih main tapi dia udah nggak bisa nge-game.
Oke. Silakan mau foto.
Oh iya.
Nah, bareng-bareng boleh. Silakan.
Guys, yang di depan dulu aja supaya aku di CSGO tetap satu orang kok.
Ayo.
Dicat lah.
Verketipe
decet. Verketipe decet gimana?
Merek.
Ayo mau difotoin.
Just be patient, guys.
Siap. Duduk. Oke, duduk.
Gue kena patah kalau gitu.
Oke.
Hey guys, I'm
Kami
sorry
dari
you just see the back side of the guys. Yeah.
It's fine.
Terus nih, siapa?
Okay.
Terus itu di foto.
Oh itu.
Malu-malu.
Just
Ada yang foto bareng.
Oke. Oke. Oke, siap. Oke, satu, dua. Ya, sip. Satu, dua, tiga. Oke. Next session. Oke, foto berikut.
baru kemarin.
Yang mau sendiri juga apa?
Oh, kena mukanya ini. Yoga mundur.
Sorry.
Mundur aja. Posisinya mundur.
Sensor aja nih, dia sensor.
Boleh.
Depan nanya.
Tapi dia mau ngopi nggak?
Udah.
Ayo sih boleh.
Yuk.
Oke, siap.
Satu, dua.
Oke, one more.
Itu jidatnya pakai mana?